Hi everybody, thanks for joining us this evening for our Instagram Live, and I'm here and I'm going to introduce Allie, Chisholm-Smith, who is the owner of Ahimsa Yoga in Huntsville, Ontario on Main Street. So welcome, Allie. Thank you. So excited to have you and for
excited to be here.
Yeah, taking the time out of your night to help educate and spread information to many people that are looking to understand what yoga is and how it can help them if they've never done it, or if maybe they've been thinking about getting into it and what the benefits are. So thank you for that.
Pleasure.
So one of the things I'm going to ask you is, how did you get into yoga in your journey?
Okay, so it's a major family joke that I do anything, because I hated Jane Fonda fitness when I was a kid in my teens, and then I was stressed out enough as a grad student, and I came across a yoga schedule and I decided to try it. And it was this great studio that said, well, what do you want from yoga? Instead of just get you into a class, we're like, well, what do you want? Because we want to get you in the right class.
Yeah.
So I got in, and I was at the time studying power dynamics in our lives, like power over versus power with.
Oh, okay.
And so for me in doing yoga, I was like, wow, this is power from within.
Wow, that's
right?
wonderful.
Yeah. And I've always had a hard time with body image issues. I've always been heavier. So for me, yoga's really helped me to come to peace with that and say, this is who I am.
That's right.
And I have every right to show
beauty.
up as I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And embrace that, right?
Yeah.
With confidence and self-love.
Not every day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think we all struggle in that a little bit, or
Yeah.
most of us. I shouldn't say all of us, but most of us. So how long have you been
doing yoga?
Yeah.
So I would say 25 years, maybe a little bit more.
So
and I've been teaching for 22.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how long have you had your own studio?
So I moved up here in 1999, and I opened where Big Daddy Meets is now.
Oh yeah.
So here is Cosmic Humor. So we're called Ahimsa, and Ahimsa means non-harm or non-violence.
Okay.
And we sold it to the butcher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Non-harm or non-violence. That is. There's definitely humor in there.
So then we moved here to Main Street. So I would say I've had my own studio for like 20 years.
Wow, good for you. That's amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes I sit with it and I think, wow, okay.
It's such a beautiful
Thank you.
Voyage to be a part of, though. Like, what a beautiful journey to have is something like that. And I'm super excited to hear everything as well, because I came and I did one of the classes, and Krista Marwick brought me.
Goddess.
And love her. And what a beautiful experience it was. And I only, in my views, everyone can benefit from yoga and taking the time. So we're going to talk about that and why. So what is the most important component with yoga to bringing that into health and fitness, and why?
So for me, the journey of yoga is about self-knowledge. So instead of going in and just doing something for the sake of doing it, you're saying, well, what do I need today? Where am I hungry? Where am I thirsty? Right? So I know we've all had the experience of doing kind of by roped physical fitness stuff.
Yes.
And it feels like, but I don't need my glutes work today. I need X, Y, and Z. I want to find like real balance in my body.
That's
so
right.
yeah, so the nice thing about yoga is the kind of the ownership of that for yourself to say, well, I need this, and so my mind is off today. Well, what do you need to put your mind back in order?
Right.
And I don't know, you just feel the idea, the goal is to feel when you're off balance.
Right.
Catch it earlier and earlier, and then it doesn't become, hopefully, that disease process.
Amazing. So would you say, so yoga is like not just about the physical moves that you're doing, but about feeling very centered within yourself and hearing yourself and what your needs are.
For sure. And I think you can enter through the doorway of only physical, and you can enter through the doorway of only mental health, and then you could do only spiritual. But what I like is in the invitation to all three, and then letting go of what people actually choose out of those three. But yeah, I think it's bottomless, right? So the idea in yoga is that every cell in your body contains all the elements in the cosmos, and so going inside to feel yourself and take care of that little ecosystem that you live in is crucial to the larger ecosystem. So
that's amazing.
Bottomless.
And the biggest thing is, and I know I can't speak for everyone that's obviously on here or everyone in general, but I think a lot of the times, you know, as you know, I'm a personal trainer and strength coach and so forth, and that stuff, it also has its importance, both you know, mentally, internally, and physically. But at the same time, if you don't take the time, as we were just talking before the video started, to just be, to hear that stuff, and you don't get away from it, you need to find those channels like yoga to be able to learn and have that taught to you.
Yeah, and I think one thing that you and I were talking about too is that if you don't trigger your relaxation response, you are not creating enough health, because we've made our world so busy, chaotic, noisy, that now we're just contracted, right? So Carolyn Van Dyke in pelvic health physiotherapy.
Oh yes.
We'll talk about how our first fear response is the pelvic floor, and then from there it's just this chain reaction of tension.
Right.
And so I think it's so important to remember that contraction of muscle is so important, so is elongation.
Right.
So then when you're breathing the long deep breaths of yoga, you're getting your diaphragms moving properly, fully. So you inhale, and these, I like to think of them as stingrays or jellyfish, right?
Yes.
So they expand in your body, they set your bones in motion. When your bones are set in motion, then your fluid is set in motion. So your body of water isn't stagnating.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that's so important, right, for health and for well-being. But then the other piece too is when you take that longer exhale, so what they're finding out is that you take that longer exhale, and the vagus nerve sends a serum to your heart, and then that serum goes to your nervous system, slows your heart rate down, calms your nervous system, and in calming your nervous system down, you lower your rates of inflammation.
Wow, so that is really important to hear Allie say, because in a world, I'm going to use the word chaos, but understand that it's not all bad when I use that terminology. But in chaos, how I look at that word is we are available at every direction. And especially now with social media, we're on 24 hours a day, and I see this in my children as well, saying, you know, Mom, you can't leave someone on red, or they're gonna think I'm ignoring them, because they're raised in a time where they feel like they have to get back to everyone right away.
Right.
So you're racing, and so what that does is it causes stress, it causes anxiety, our mental health is at risk, huge, not to mention, of course, then what it does to us internally. Our mind controls our body along with our organs, and it just goes all the way down. So
then autoimmune disorders come up, right?
There
because
you are.
Autoimmune is your system is so stressed out that it's attacking it's attacking your immune system.
Wow.
So then one of the biggest issues now with World Health Organization is autoimmune disorders. And then they're looking at Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, obesity is about inflammation.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Chronic
Absolutely.
pain is about, like, I know I put on weight when I'm stressed.
Yeah.
When I'm in that self-employment spin.
Yeah.
I can't lose weight, and that's because I'm so inflamed. So like, great homework, right? You're just going to take longer exhales, stop freaking out.
Yeah.
Because most of your freak out is unfounded.
It's true.
And just get that set in motion.
Yeah.
So if you can trigger your relaxation response once a day, because now we've flipped so much that we don't relax anymore.
Right.
So consciously, and that doesn't mean paddleboarding. It doesn't mean walking. You shouldn't be able to paddleboard when you're really activating your relaxation response. It's like that sleepy, I might just drool kind of state.
Yeah. To me, it's like the car ride where you're the passenger.
Yeah.
You're doing this.
Good little head bob going.
Yeah. And you know, I listen to motivational videos. I was telling Allie every day, as soon as I get up, I listen to them, and I read quotes to start my day off on a very positive foot. And one of the things that I heard was we have 35,000 chances in a day where we make decisions or reactions. That's a lot in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, and those are little things of which direction are we going to use words, what we're going to eat. So we make a lot of decisions every day. So in that, learning practices such as
mindfulness, yeah.
Right? Taking that breath and just being is so important. And so with yoga, one of the things I wanted to ask for someone that's never done it,
yeah,
is there a beginner class? Are they all
Right.
kind of for everyone?
They are for everyone. So I used to do it as beginner, intermediate, and it was a disaster because then I would get athletes coming into a beginner class, which is snoozy,
Oh,
and they need to be challenged.
right,
Right. So I want everyone to get that relaxation response, but sometimes it's not going to be effective
right,
unless I've challenged them.
right.
Right. So then we went to different levels. Like there's restorative, that's super snoozy, like really super snoozy.
Okay,
Where all I want to do is trigger that relaxation response for 90 minutes, get you really calming down. There's gentle, which is a step, like a little bit more challenge,
Yeah.
moderate relaxation, but good challenge. And then for me, even in my vigorous now, I don't like to call it vigorous because I feel like people then expect Ashtanga yoga or something very prescribed.
okay,
And for me, I just want people to roll around and
And
figure
just
out
be,
who they are.
yeah.
So my vigorous classes are deep, long holds,
okay,
which is hard. Like it's hard because you have to activate the right muscle and your muscle might not have endurance anymore. It's used to short spurts.
okay.
And it's hard because you're in this lunge going like, I'm face to face with me and I haven't been face to face with me. Do we have time for me to tell a really quick story?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my guru. My guru is Grover. And Grover said, do not turn another page because there's a monster at the end of the story and I'm terrified of monsters. Don't do it. So you're a kid. So you turn the page. He ropes it off. Stop turning pages. He bricks it off. Stop turning pages. On and on and on. So you get to the very last page and there is Fuzzy and Blue Grover smiling. And he's like, I was so afraid of monsters all the while, and I didn't know that the monster was me.
Right.
So to me, that's like the utter, Jim Henson had to be a yogi, right? Because it's the utter yogic journey of like, I'm so scared to be still and be with myself. And then you find out that's a pretty great little monster.
Right.
Right? So for me, that's what yoga's about.
So this is a beautiful thing. So a lot of the stuff I've been talking about in my stories and stuff is, which I'll be getting to likely next week, is talking about emotional eating, mindfulness, intuitive, and being very aware of what is happening, not just like reacting on senses of something going on in here, and then and then beating yourself up over something because there's something else going on and you're just in these vicious cycles with yourself. And I've been there, which is why I want to speak to it. And this is just another example of, with yoga and coming, I'll definitely in YouTube I'll put like Ahimsa, the phone number, the address, everything, so that you can look into different classes. You can contact Ahimsa to find out maybe where you should start, as Allie was just going over all the different levels. The biggest thing is if you know that you are never still and you're avoiding being still enough because you don't want to face one yourself, or B, you really know that your life is hectic and you really need silence, but you don't have the time to go away.
Yeah.
An hour and a half, 2 hours on a day. I know there's so many different times that these classes take place, and to just have that time, the gift that you give yourself and what you'll feel through that, is honestly, it's just me speaking and you hearing. So I would honestly say, I would highly recommend that you try it so that you can feel what it is that I'm speaking and not just hear me recommending it, because that's what this is all about, is learning, right? So with that, now one of the things that you say, and I'm reading the questions here if you see me looking over this way, is one of the things that you often say is focus on relaxation component. And you do talk about that a lot. And I know for health reasons and different things, can you kind of describe that and why, and then maybe some of the stuff that would happen in a class?
So say
for
you're
those
doing,
that don't have a clue,
right? So we always start in what's called Shavasana, which is a relaxation relaxation pose. I'm getting redundant. Because what I want you to first land in your body, because most of us are not in our bodies all day long. So then, and we learn breath as we're doing that, and we close off the sense organs. Get your phone to Mars if you can, as far away from you as possible.
Yeah.
And then, so we set that in motion. So I'm in my body, and then I joke about we're trying to woo the body for the first date. So you start to roll around, you're like easy, no big deal, and then you start to get into the harder poses. But as we get into like a lunge or a downward dog or I don't know, some big back bend, right?
Yeah.
Or even a headstand, which we don't do a lot of because of neck issues, just no. But I want you to feel relaxed about that because it's a practice of fearlessness. So we want to go in with trust in our body, trust in our minds. And that what we're learning is how can you be the boy on the water, right? So the storms are going to come, that's inevitable. We are always here to transform. We're never going to be bleached, white, perfect, whatever,
That's right? No.
So how do you navigate those storms and not get drowned by them?
Willis and I call it flossom.
Nice.
We're all flossom.
Nice.
Yeah.
So and then, so you go up kind of this pinnacle on our lesson plan, you're going up and up and up to the hardest pose, which might not be that hard, but it might be. And then we go back down into that relaxation pose again to end off. So it's this really nice kind of bookending. Oh, I feel so much clearer. What do you mean 90 minutes went by? How did that happen? Right? Nobody believes it. So I do 3-hour workshops. People by the 3rd hour, I'm like, okay, we're going back to Shavasana. What? They have no clue.
Wow.
Yeah. Time just goes.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
And it's all about that nervous system calming. Like I know we were going to talk a little bit about fascia. Fascia is another nervous system.
Yeah.
All cloaked around every part of you. And that's really what you're working in yoga is fascia.
So, a couple of things. One I wanted to touch base on, one is if you're afraid of what you're going to look like.
Yes.
I'm going to touch base on this. We have to set our egos to the side. When we are babies, we have to crawl. And before we crawl, we go to get up and we, do a handstand, land on our face. And then eventually we're crawling and we try to stand up. And when we go to stand up, we fall on our bums, our face, our sides. We're children and we don't have infants. We don't have that mindset of worrying about fear, judgment. We don't have our ego standing in the way. As we get older, we pick up these habits of worrying about what everyone else thinks of us. So understand that when I came to do the yoga class, of course I'm nervous too because I'm not well experienced with this. So, but again, you have to step outside of your comfort if you're going to take the opportunity to gift yourself something that you might really love, and in a turn is a medicine of healing and calmness for within yourself. And you might not be able, I couldn't do half the poses that some of them were doing, but it wasn't about them and they weren't watching me. It's no different than at the gym. They're there for them and to learn what they need to learn in that time frame. And when you're there, you're surrounded by your own bubble in your own space, and what you may not be able to do the first time, with practice, will get better and better.
So I always get, I'm not flexible, I can't. And I'm like, well, why do you go to the gym? You don't go to the gym because you're already strong.
That's right.
I am not flexible. My body is so tight, my fascia is so dense.
Me too.
If I didn't do yoga, I would be in so much pain. So don't go there. It's not about that. And people's eyes are closed. There's no mirrors. There's no back of the room.
No.
Right?
It's very dim and
lots
peaceful
of modifications
and
lots of adjustments.
And if there's anything that maybe you needed to have tweaked, the person beside you isn't there to tell you. They're just very closed. They're open, but their eyes are closed and in the healing for themselves, as I said earlier. But an instructor will come over and whisper calmly, not shout out in the room, to what little simple change or adjustment needs to be. And the healing that yoga can do within the body, as Allie's been speaking to, stretching is a gift, no different than building muscle to be able to carry your body around. And you can work out 5 days a week, 7 days a week, if you don't stretch and you have muscle, you're gonna end up with some major soreness because that muscle's gonna just start knotting like this, and we need the Allies of the universe to help pull that out for us.
Yeah, you get adhesions and
it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So now, can you go on and speak a bit about fascia and why what its role is and why it's so important that you really focus on that in your classes?
Okay, so fascia is the stuff it's connective tissue, so it's throughout your body in a continual way. It's like a cobweb that's all woven together. It's beautiful. And so it wraps around your muscle, through your muscle, around your bones, through your bones. So when we're always reaching for top shelf, when we're always texting, it starts to reshape in the imbalances, right? So a lot of what I do is rolling around, kind of like a rolling pin, trying to massage that dough back into right
with
shape.
your own body.
Right, because then, so you know when you sprained your ankle when you were a kid, the ankle got thick and stiff.
Yes.
So that's fascia. The cobweb strands are thickening and binding together to make a body cast. Ankle is going to heal.
Right.
If we are not just physically stressed but emotionally stressed, the same thing happens through our bodies, where the fascia starts to thicken, particularly 12th rib area, you know, bra line area. We get so tight because we're not breathing properly. Yeah. So then we end up with neck problems, vertebral restrictions, discs that are herniating. Yeah. Right? Like unknown.
Yeah, I was told that I don't breathe with my full stomach. I don't actually expand. That I'm always like tight.
Well, so I always say
taking
like
short, shallow
Barbie
breaths.
and G.I. Joe, right? Like inhale, pregnant with breath, exhale, draw it in. And so that's the main thing with fascia is we want to even it out because it's creating these restrictions. This great video on YouTube, this guy goes in as fascia man, and this woman goes and she bundles up his fascia suit on one side, and she shows how at the hip even he starts to bend.
Right, because it's all pulling.
Yeah, and then raise your arms, and he can't raise his arms because his hip is out.
Wow.
And she's like, you know, from that hip, the other foot is going to get plantar fasciitis. Yeah. Right? So it's huge.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh. And Allie, your studio, is it open 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It's a bit dodgy in terms of front desk always being available, but we'll always get back to you by email or phone.
Amazing.
Website.
And I'll definitely share all of that with everybody so that they can get the information to reach out and hopefully take a chance and come and try such a
first
beautiful
class on the house too. Just say you came from this little video.
There you go. If everyone heard that, first class on the house. You just have to say that you watched the Instagram live, which is super exciting. Thank you for that. That's really kind.
Pleasure.
Allie, is there anything else before we sign off tonight that I know I'm gonna definitely want to work with this lovely, beautiful soul again, without a doubt. But tonight, is there anything that you can say to leave anybody that's watching currently that has maybe never done it? To help?
I would say your homework is just breathe. Just get your belly expanding when you inhale, contracting when you exhale. And just know that no matter what your choices are, they're the right choice. It just doesn't always lead to ease. You are on time, and you're enough.
Amazing. And how would someone know, this will be a good one, whether they can benefit from yoga?
Oh, well.
I had to ask it.
Okay, so I'm not like a big pusher. I don't think it's for every single person.
That's why I'm throwing this out here.
But I think if you have stress in your life, aka you're a human being in 2019, if you have joint issues, mobility issues, if you have immune system issues, if you are inhaling and exhaling, I think that yoga can be of benefit. I don't force it on people, but it really can be a benefit to most everybody. But so can Qigong, so can Tai Chi.
Right.
It's finding your modality.
And that's what these lives are about. And I know I say it each and every time, is the reason these are happening is to educate everyone on what's out there. See if it speaks to you. I mean, in this case, your first class is free. You have nothing to lose to come and try and see how you benefit from it.
We have mats here if you don't have any. We have water. Perfect. You don't need to bring anything.
Perfect. Yeah. And then you can go from there and get some more information. to continue to move forward with it. So I hope this helped this evening, and thank you, Allie,
great.
so much for joining me on this and taking the time to help everyone.
Total pleasure.
And it'll be on YouTube, so I'll have that up in the next 48 hours or so, and I'll have all of Allie's contact information for her studio and instructors. Okay, happy health everybody, happy Wednesday.